Spring, see people up here taking the baths and wasn't nothing for them to do, so we started the Alligator Farm. Now your alligators are reptiles, which means they're cold-blooded. When the temperatures start dropping outside, their metabolism will start slowing down, their heartbeat will slow down, their lungs will slow down. If it gets where they don't have any body functions, you call this hibernation. In a while at this time, they would dig up underneath the mud banks in what they call gator holes. They'd dig up under the mud banks and bury themselves down underneath the mud and stay there all winter. Here we got concrete ponds, so they can't dig, so we got to provide a facility for them. By the end of October, November, depending on the temperature outside, they're all going to start congregating around at the gate there, kind of telling us, hey, it's getting too cold out here. Well, the boss has 3 sons, it's Coach, one's out here at Lake Hamilton. He'll tell the kids up there to come help us bring alligators in the building. They come up here, grab them by their tail, and drag them inside the building. They all get a bath and a toothbrush before they go in. They'll stay in that building for 6 months. During that time, they don't eat anything at all. People say, well, won't they go hungry? Gator can actually go 2 years without eating a thing. They say they've been around since dinosaurs. That's probably why they can shut down like that. Now, we bring them back outside around May 1st, start feeding on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's actually 2 feedings. We just split it up into 3 different days to try to give everybody a chance. Now, say we got a cold night at night, like at the beginning of summer, here towards the end of summer. We're going to come out here and feed. We're going to look like idiots. The temperature determines where they eat. They cannot digest the food if they're not warmed up, and they know it. You force the feed in their mouth, they just spit it back out. The temperature does determine whether an alligator eats. It also determines the sex of an alligator. What happens when a mama gator gets ready to build a nest? She makes a mound out of vegetation and dirt, digs it out, and lays some eggs. Covers those up, lays some more eggs. Then she'll mound it over. She sits on it and protects it. Eggs in the warmer parts of the nest, those are going to be your males. Eggs in the cooler parts of the nest, those will be your females. The way that works, if you were to take those eggs, put them in an incubator and set that temperature to 98 degrees, 99.9% of that is going to be a male. At 86 degrees, you get the same ratio of females. So that's kind of neat that mom and dad determine that. Now, a lot of people ask us when we're up here feeding, they go, how do you know you're getting them? Especially in the hot summer when they're all just up here around the dock and getting crazy.
The alligator.
Well, they go, how do you know you're getting them all? We can't guarantee you're getting them all. Ones that are up here and aggressive, though, they're going to get 3-4 pieces of chicken. Those guys that are laid back, they're going to get none. The guys that didn't get none are going to be the aggressive ones. So they're going to kind of rotate it out. What we do hand feed, we spread it out amongst them. We see one before they go into hibernation that ain't got that hot belly on him. We start shoving the food before he's playing. Make sure he gets that pot belly on him before he goes into hibernation.
Do what?
By us hand feeding, it kind of spreads it out amongst them. It also cuts down on the fighting. Years ago, they would take some of the fish, chickens, throw it out there. They had a bunch of 3-legged alligators. So by us sitting here hand feeding, instead of them sitting there fighting over their food, they'll come running at us for it. Now,
hey, what you up?
Crocodile gets a whole lot bigger than an alligator. Crocodile has a long pointed snout.
I didn't hear it ring.
You can also tell by the force tooth on the lower jaw. On your crocodile, that force tooth on the lower jaw will come up over the outside of the mouth. An alligator is top teeth will actually go down. We have a sign back over there. The alligators don't attack teeth and crocodiles do. The sign doesn't say that an alligator won't bite you. A bad gator will be a mama gator. She's on the nest, but she's got little ones. She is going to protect her young. Just like us. Pick on our kids, we don't get you. They're the same way. You can pick on us, it's just the same way. Don't walk around on alligators. You probably don't get bit. Here at feed time, they do go into that feeding frenzy and they get dangerous at this time. That is because they're going to associate it with food. It's actually against the law to feed a wild alligator. This is the reason. Get this fella thinking, let's go cool, go feed this gator out in the pond of this lake. He starts feeding that alligator. That gator gets to thinking that everybody come around there going to bring him some groceries. He's going to end up hurting some swimmer or some fisherman that doesn't know he's there. The gator's going to end up getting killed because he's attacked somebody. But it's all that fella that fought in the first place and started feeding him. People will leave him alone. They're not a bad sinner. TV really gives them a bad name. You say, I watch this swamp people show, them gators look bad. You'd be bad too if you had a hook stuck in your mouth. You can actually swim with a gator as long as he ain't been fed by nobody. You're kind of curious, he'll come out and check you out, but if you go towards him, he'll swim the other way. Now, I watch a lot of documentaries on alligators. I don't believe half the stuff I see of them anymore. I watched this one documentary one day that said an alligator's not a bottom feeder. A gator won't feed off the bottom. Actually, they may not feed off the bottom. But as you see, we'll feed off the bottom. Now he brings his head up above the water to actually swallow that chicken. The reason he does that, on the back side of his throat, he has a flap. That flap keeps water from getting into his system and keeps him from drowning. He can drown within like 6 seconds. That flap is open. So that's the reason he brings his head up above the water. Now I watched another documentary one day. It said an alligator can stay in the water for 45 minutes. 2 weeks later, different documentary. Alligators can stay in the water for 2 hours. We got a book in the gift shop. It says 6 hours. Swamp people the other day in an hour. If anybody tells you how long an alligator can stay underwater, they're lying to you. Unless you can see the alligator in action. Hey gator, did you hold your breath as long as you could? Did you take a bigger breath than you could? You're not going to know the real answer to that question. I've seen them 8 hours stare in the water and never come up over the air. So I can tell you it's at least 8 hours. But I don't see alligators. So it makes me think that a lot of times on those documentaries they just make up things so they look like they know what they're talking about. Now, gators is heading towards extinction there at one time, not anymore. They're plentiful. All your southern states have alligators. A lot of people just think they're for the movies. Even a hunting season here in Arkansas, they're so plentiful now. But Louisiana Department of Wildlife Fisheries, they had a big deal to do with the alligator population boom. Years ago, they came up with a program. It was done today. It's just done a little bit different nowadays. Years ago, they would take these helicopters and climb out on the squirrel plants and find alligator nests. They would send somebody in there to drop those eggs. They would take the eggs back to their big facilities. They had these huge incubator pads. Hatch them out. They would give them out to those hot houses to raise them for hiding meat. It's kind of like a chicken house. Alligators in there. And they would give all those gators out to them on the condition that when them gators turned 4-year-old, they got 17% of them back. And then they would release those in the wild. Let's just say, for instance, they find 50 eggs out there in the wild. That's about 7 or 8 gators they're going to be getting back and released out in the wild. If the eggs stay out there in the wild and hatch, odds of them making it out of 50 are about 2. So instead of 2 gators out there, you got 7 or 8. So it's a good program they got. And he asked me why there's only 2 make it out of 50 eggs. When a gator hatches out, it's 4 to 6 inches long. He's like a little lizard, a fish lizard, a snake lizard, a bullfrog lizard, a turtle lizard, raccoon, other gators. Everything feeds on little baby gators. But once he reaches 4 years old, he really doesn't have any enemies. And that's the way they built the population of them. Now, people ask how old do they live? Average life for an alligator is about late 70s. They're just like us. Some live long. People ask us how big can they get? Average size for a male is about 12 foot. Average for a female is about 8 foot. You get anything over 12 foot, you have a big gator. Now, right now, our biggest gator is about 10 foot. But we used to have 12 alligators here that ranged from 12 foot to 1810. The 1810 made a rescue gator. It's the second largest. Oldest and largest was 19 foot 6. He was in St. Augustine, Florida. And I've heard of him being bigger than that out in the wild. I've heard of him being bigger. There behind the TV, there's a picture of him say he's 24 foot. Now, I don't doubt that he can get that big. I would like to really see it. I mean, that 1810, that's a big gator. Now, if anybody's got a question right now, just raise your hand and I'll answer.